Hello, hello, and welcome to Inklings with Irena, the weekly energy show connecting you to your intuitive guidance system. And today I'm talking about how to know when it's the worst time to make a decision. So I'm glad you're here with me. If we haven't met, my name is Irena Miller. I'm an intuitive energy guide, and I've been guiding empathic women for over 2 decades in how to trust their gut instincts, how to read the signs around them, how to shift and clear karma, how to get the physical stress out of their body through yoga, how to look for an energetic weather report with tarot card readings or oracle card readings, how to use crystals, rocks in your pockets to help find that confidence, that stamina, feel that protection to go out in the world and go after their dreams. So thank you for joining me. I'm glad you're here. As you pop on, let me know if you've ever had a decision that you've regretted, a decision that you've made. I think we've all been there at one point or another. And as I jump in to talk about the 3 things to be on the lookout for when it comes to making decisions, I want to paint a picture for you to give you a little bit of context in how to look for this. And as I paint this picture, I want you to imagine a beautiful, young, vibrant woman. She's just finishing up her collegiate years and she's looking forward to jumping into her career. This is a type of woman who is independent, strong-willed, very much an empath and a feeler, definitely chooses love above and over everything else, but she also follows the rules. She has a tendency to dot all her I's, cross all the T's, and try to learn from other people's mistakes. And she had done all the work. She was all lined up for graduation, meaning halfway through her senior year in college, she had a great job lined up, great company, she'd done all the work, interviewing, checking out companies, and she was excited. But as the year came to a close, life happened. And that life, it actually turned out to be a really wonderful thing. But at the point in time where she chose love, she ended up running away with the love of her life and moving to a new city. What ended up happening was she had to start all over again. She left that job and that career behind. She left a network behind. Now, when you arrive in a new city, especially if you take a leap of faith like that, your root chakra gets shifted. All of a sudden it's that fight or flight situation of, okay, I'm in a brand new place. I don't have any friends here. Don't have any family other than the love of her life. And there she is trying to figure out, okay, I need to network now. I need to make new connections and I need to start from square one. And there's a certain amount of anxiety and edge that can kick in. So when that anxiety and edge starts to kick in, that fear, that's one of the first things to be alert and aware for. That fear, when it creeps in and it throws the root chakra off and everything closes down, we stop paying attention, as well as the heart. The heart gets poured so much, you think back and there's that moment of, wow, I've been here before. I've got to do it all over again. I got to start from square one or from, a blank slate. This is so frustrating. So all of a sudden the fatigue starts to come in. And that's the second thing you want to be aware of. So this young woman, when she hits this town, she's gung-ho at first, but again, it's the job fairs, it's the interviewing, it's the exhaustion of, oh, I thought I had this all figured out and lined up. A fatigue begins to come in. And then the final thing to look out for is the apathy. All of a sudden, the heart is just empty. There's that feeling of like, oh, I had something great somewhere else and I'm just tired. I'm just tired. My heart's not in it, whatever comes my way. And what ends up happening at that point, when the fear kicks in, when the fatigue takes over, when the apathy, when your heart is just drained and you just don't have that inspiration in you any longer, that is the point. That is the point where people just make decisions that they ultimately regret. They make decisions from that place of, okay, this is, just take it or leave it kind of thing. Like, this is the best I've got right now. But what happens inevitably is that person will look back and will say, whoa, why did I let go so soon? Why did I give up? Why did I jump so quickly without taking a moment to pause? And I want to share right now what you can do, or what anyone can do in that position to avoid making the worst decision possible, which is, number one, check into the energetic cost. When you are out on this adventure, wherever you are, how much is it costing you? So this wonderful young bright woman that we're painting the picture of, there was an energetic cost of the feeling of, I've got to get something right away. I need to follow the rules. How can you graduate and not have a job lined up? So there was this feeling of urgency to just get a job, any job. And the fear of being in a new town and not being able to pay the bills well. Like, we've got to get that job, got to rush right into it. But then the next thing that happened is that the fatigue kicked in. So the energetic cost of putting ourselves under a certain amount of pressure, and then the fatigue that energy drain just pulls away from us, leads me into the next thing I want everyone to be aware of is, what is your energetic tank reading, or what is your tank on your heart reading? Because when our heart begins to just lose faith, lose hope, and just get absolutely drained, then we make decisions from that apathetic place, and it really leads to regret. And then finally, the last thing that I invite you to check it out is look in the mirror, check your eyes. And if your eyes have that dull look, if they've lost that sparkle, then you know that your spirit has checked out. And when your spirit's checked out, when your energy is drained, when you're just absolutely kind of at that bottom of the barrel feeling, that's the moment when you want to rest. You want to feed your spirit. That's a true sign of, don't make a decision, don't jump in right there and then, because that's the place where the spirit needs to be fed. Once we've had that time to rest, once we've fed our spirit and we go back to the decision-making process, all of a sudden a whole new world of possibilities opens up. That fear and urgency that young woman was feeling, she didn't have to feel that. That was a pressure she was putting on herself. She was okay. She had enough in savings. She had a wonderful partner. That was a fear she was placing on herself as an external source. It didn't have to happen. Her mind didn't need to spin into those tall tales. She ran herself into the ground, and she just got to that place where her heart was running on empty. So feeding your spirit can be done in many different ways. This is what I love sharing with my clients and my students. And it really is a personal experience. And I talk about all sorts of ways you can create energy medicine bags, ways that you can ground in earth and come back to yourself, find your signature song and your essence. And what happens is, it's like we plump back up, like a raisin that's been dried up, or a date, and you let it soak in the water and just soak it all up. There are ways that we can fill ourselves with inspiration so that moving forward, when you make a decision, when it's decision time, if you're in that place of fear, fatigue, or apathy, the FFA, pause, give yourself time to rest, feed your spirit, and run everything through that filter of those three questions and they are, what is the energetic cost of the decision you're making? Are you making it from a place where you're putting an external urgency on yourself that doesn't have to really be there? How much is this draining you? What is your heart tank reading at? And then finally, check your eyes for that sparkle. Make sure your spirit hasn't checked out, because when we make decisions just with the head, especially out of fear, that's when we always look back and regret it. So if you are ready to learn some of these techniques and ways of feeding your spirit, come play with me, come hang out with me. Click the link above, and I look forward to sharing these sacred practices with you, both modern and ancient. It's a true joy of mine. All right, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Mwah! Bye, guys. Lots of love.